Fall episode 2, The Target, starts with the ink spots into each life, some rain. Must fall, a very common song within the franchise. As we see a literal hot dog. Lovely. It's being performed by a doctor who takes pity on one dog who's just under the weight recommendation. He's also wearing a Pit Boy. So rounding up, we got our new dog meat, 404. And the doctor takes care of him, preventing him from getting injected with something, as he appears to be in some, prison or wherever, where a bunch of guards are wearing black and carrying laser rifles. And yeah, he's clearly the Enclave guy the Brotherhood's looking for, despite being said to have been in Boston, even though none of this looks like Fallout 4. Oh, I guess all the dog meats are being trained just to be like guard dogs. But the doc wants to keep this one. Oh, and I guess this dog meat's a girl. Whoops. Someone's gonna be mad about that. Doc keeps this dog meat a secret as he's doing some science to himself, but he gets busted. This leads into a tussle until dog meat does its thing, but now they gotta book it. Running past a very Fallout turret, they somehow avoid getting hit. We cut back to Lucy, literally right off where we left her, wandering around the direct outside of the vault, listening to Ben Crosby's Don't Fence Me In, finding a family meal, and then go camping. But then Dogmeat saves her from a rad roach. The doctor talks about rad roaches being cockroaches, and we know from the little info thing that Amazon Prime does, this is Dr. Ziggy. He says that vault dwellers are an endangered species and should not be in this environment, but Lucy says she's not leaving without her dad. So Ziggy just leaves, saying that Lucy should adapt, but if you adapt, will you want the same thing? Back with Max, he's trying to make awkward small talk with Titus, so he just rips off his codpiece and tells him to wash it, to pass the time. He gets bored, so the two drop off in the middle of nowhere. Back with Ziggy, he's having some cram, which is copyright infringement of spam, and Dogmeat found some body parts, so they realize this cave they're next to is very sus and they gotta get out here. One quick shot of everywhere in Oklahoma, and Taya and Max somehow made it to the cave. They know Ziggy was here, so they head into the cave. Max first, despite Titus being the one in power armor with a big-ass assault rifle. And Ty is like, do it, pussy. Then he gets jumped by a Yaoguai. A Yaoguai is an irradiated bear. Yaoguai is Chinese for basically evil spirit. Why exactly people of the Wasteland call them Yaoguai and not just a rad bear or something, I don't know. So Titus tries fighting it, but it goes about as well as you would think fighting a giant bear, and he literally runs away, getting mauled by it, and Max lands a double critical on its head with a 10mm pistol. Ty's pretty messed up from this and starts complaining about how much he hates his job. He needs a stim pack, but he's goading Max, so he decides to just let him die in his armor and watches him. Cold-blooded. But I do like this scene showing that Max isn't just a pushover. He was treated terribly by Titus, so he decides, why help him? Meanwhile, Lucy's getting directions from some creep with no pants on drinking sand to go to Philly. Back with Max, he decides to hop into the power armor, as It's a Man from Fallout 4 starts playing, and he's so glad that Fallout 4 removed power armor training, as he has a joyride with it, showing off how powerful it is. Whoops. He breaks up a fight between this dude and this 4chan user.
It's just... the guy was fucking my chickens.
That's a pretty well-preserved chicken because the only other chickens in the Fallout franchise are from Far Harbor and they don't have feathers. Also, Ty's power armor has a flamethrower in it. Lucy makes it to Philly, and it's absolutely peak apocalypse town, covered in shops and shacks and old vehicles being repurposed as buildings. I love it. There's a sign for Nuka-Cola, which is the Fallout equivalent of Coke. We see a two-headed cow. These are called Brahmin. They've been around since Fallout 1, but this is the first time we really see them regrow hair. And Lucy sees a Pit Boy in a shop. Oh, I wonder who this is. She heads in, and Ma June runs a Vault-Tec antique shop, basically, and she's unimpressed by Lucy. But she does know who that raider boss was from the first episode, Moldaver, but they also don't take too kindly to Vault Dwellers around these parts, them privileged assholes, get out. Meanwhile, Ziggy has somehow made it to Philly, and he knows about the vaults. Because again, it's obvious he's the Enclave guy they're looking for, and the Enclave knows about the vaults. Cooper reveals himself, and he's looking for Ziggy's bounty. And Ma June is here to keep him safe, at least for his travel. And this is the first time we hear in the series them refer to caps. Bottle caps is the currency in Fallout. Think of it kind of like the gold standard in the real world, where dollars used to represent 1 bar of gold, bottle caps used to represent 1 bottle of water, and they just became so commonplace that no longer really connected, but people still use them because of we say they're valuable. Cooper blows off Ziggy's foot. This leads into a very Fallout, very Western standoff and shootout. I'm guessing Cooper took the Bloody Mess perk. And we even see some people using pipe rifles, which are post-war weapons that are exactly what you think they are. I'm also guessing Howard has very high endurance because he gets shot in the back and just kind of like walks it off. Dogmeat pins him, but Cooper just takes out his knife, and what is with this episode and their abuse of dogs? Lucy comes out sticking up for Ziggy and tries darting the ghoul.
Well, now that is a very small drop in a very, very large bucket of drugs.
But Max appears saying to stand down as he flies in on his power armor jetpack. You can get power armor jetpack in Fallout 4, but here he's literally flying in like Iron Man. Max tries stopping the ghoul, but Howard is unimpressed by power armor, so still shoots Lucy. Max jumps and saves her. Luckily he didn't take the Pain Train perk. His helmet opens up like this, which has never been a thing in Fallout except for a piece of concept art that's not in canon from the cancelled Fallout Van Buren. Max and Howard fight a bit. Meanwhile, Ziggy gets a prosthetic wind-up foot attached to him, and Ma June and her girlfriend decide to help out, saying Lucy to go get Moldaver because the doc is going that way anyway. Max is actually having a pretty good time until he gets his foot caught, and the ghoul slices one of his tubes, which messes up and sends him flying away. He realizes everyone left, and he goes up to Dogmeat, and just like the game, just one stim pack, and he's fine. Ziggy and Lucy are wandering the wasteland, and they come across a Russian satellite that crashed. It has some hammer and sickles and CCCP on it, because in Fallout, the Soviet Union did not collapse. Instead, it kind of grew into a little bit of irrelevancy and became an uneasy ally of the US, as China took off as the second major superpower. I have a sneaky suspicion that Amazon might be doing a little bit of swappy because they don't want to lose out on Chinese money. Ziggy took a banana-flavored cyanide pill brought to you by Vault-Tec, but says that his head will live on if you just cut it off. So Lucy decides to go lollipop chainsaw on his ass, as the ink spots I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire starts playing. It's basically the Fallout's unofficial theme song, made famous from the intro of Fallout 3, and we've heard it on the radio from every game except New Vegas from then on. It was originally also supposed to be used in the scrapped Fallout Van Buren, and even in the original game, but they didn't have the rights, so instead they settled for Maybe by the ink spots. This is a fine enough episode. The dog things are kind of weird, and I don't really like the different direction they're using jetpack power armor, but the story is progressing in an interesting way, and Ziggy's already kind of interesting. I like seeing a new side of Max as he's developing, and the ghoul's really cool. I'm still enjoying this series so far, and I'll give this episode a 7 out of 10. Make sure to smash that like button, share with your friends, comment any thoughts and opinions, don't spoiler, and subscribe.